Hey guys, Becky here with Design Bundles, and I'm super excited today to bring you another fabulous Cricut tutorial. Today we are talking about fonts and text and all the wonderful things that you need to know to get started. All right guys, so we are going to start off with the bundle that we purchased. We purchased a font bundle here, the Brilliant Font Bundle Volume 6. And of course it came with a lot of really great options. And what I want to do is I personally am going to download the open type fonts. So what I've done, this is my purchases menu here. Okay, and you click on download files to expand this menu. And then I'm going to click right here and it will download straight to my computer. See it down here? So this is going to take just a minute. So I'm going to go over to my downloads folder. So in my downloads folder, you can see that it comes over as a zipped folder. That's okay. All you want to do is you can right click and you can do extract all and just choose extract. And it should save in an unzipped format right back in your downloads folder. It may take a minute because these bundles do contain a lot of really great things in there. But once that's done, you see how this new folder populates. You can double click. Now you can access any of these fonts that you want to in here. Now what I particularly like up here is there's one that says all, and you can just click anywhere on here. I'm going to use a shortcut on my keyboard, Control A. It will select all of the fonts, and then you can right click, and I always do install for all users. There used to be a glitch on Windows that sometimes some of the fonts would be hidden, and that will prevent this. So install for all users, and it will go through and it will literally install all of the fonts that were included in this bundle that we just downloaded. And that is really great because I always go on like a font raid, so to speak, because I do have to restart my software. So I like to get all my fonts installed at one time so that when I reinstall them or reopen my software, then they will all be there for me. So I'm just reopening the software, and all you have to do if you already have it open is just close it and then open it back up again. Now, once I'm in here, I'm just going to go to New Project, and I'm going to show you that all of those new fonts are in here. So in Cricut Design Space, when you are ready to type out a font, you are going to use right over here on the left-hand side, you have a text icon, and it will open a text box. And you can just type out anything you want, and then you can click anywhere on the screen to close that box. Now, when you have clicked on the text that you've typed out, you can see that you get a whole new little tool panel here, a whole toolbar, and you can select your font, your style, your size. You can adjust the letter spacing, the line spacing, and the alignment. Let's go ahead and change the alignment to center, and we can decrease the line spacing if we want to. Now let's go ahead and talk about our fonts. The font that I want to use, here, let me show you what it looks like normally. When you open up your fonts, you really get a whole wide range of fonts on here. If you want to find ones that are installed on your computer, you're going to click System. And I find it easier if it's a font that I use regularly, then I will remember the name and I can just type it in. Now this is a font that we just installed. It's called What You Think. And you can choose any of these styles that display right here. Now, sometimes Cricut Design Space does not kern these letters together, and that has to do, see how some of the spacing is a little off in between. This can also happen with script fonts, which is something that we will talk about a little bit later. What you're going to do in this case is you can go ahead and ungroup, and then you can adjust them manually. Now, of course, that's not ideal, but it's just important to have a handle on what your expectations are. That way you know if these are fonts that you want to use. Not that you don't want to use them, but you just need to be prepared that certain fonts will have this. And instead of just saying, oh, well, that's just what it is, just know that, sometimes some manual adjusting is what's in order. So once we get it all adjusted, you can group these together using your icon up here in the top right hand corner of the screen. And that's important because you can kind of smush these together a little bit and select all 3 of these. Now you see me doing this a lot. This is my drag box. I'm holding down my mouse key and dragging it on the screen till I've selected everything I need to select. I can use my align up here and align center horizontally. And that's going to make sure that they're lined up the way that we want them to be. You can also, on your alignment, do distribute horizontally or vertically. We're going to do vertically, and that just makes sure that they're spaced out evenly also. And then, of course, we can group those together. So that is your basics of installing a font on your computer, reopening Cricut Design Space so that those fonts import. I showed you how to type out text, how to adjust the text to reflect the font that you want to use. And then, of course, one of the common issues that you run into with Design Space and making sure that your lettering and your spacing is what you want it to be. Okay, so let's talk about script fonts. We'll delete this one out. We're going to start a new text box, and let's do something similar. Now you notice that it saved the font that we just used. That's okay. But we're going to change the font to, this one is called Backstory. And this is just a nice little script font. I like it a lot. I made it a little large. Let's scale that down. There we go. Okay, so upon first appearances, this looks like a pretty cool font, but you notice that the letters don't connect. So this can be confusing for new Cricut users because just like the regular font that we just looked at, this font looks like it's supposed to be that way. But if you have any experience with script fonts at all, you need to know that it is very similar to writing in cursive, and you do want your letters to connect. So you will see a lot of projects that they cut out their letters just like this, but just know that that's not really how the font is intended to be used, and that's not how to get the most out of these wonderful fonts that you've purchased. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to ungroup, and you are going to overlap them this time. Instead of just butting them up against each other, you're going to give them a small overlap on the areas where they are meant to connect. This also allows you to be a little bit quirky with how you connect them, because a lot of your hand-lettered fonts aren't always in a straight line. And it can be a little time-consuming, but it's definitely worth it. And I'm going to show you one more thing. Once you have all of the letters connected, you can use your drag box and select them all. And then what you want to select is down here on the bottom right-hand side, you want to choose Weld. And that is what is going to weld these letters together. And when I say weld, what I mean is these are now part of one solid cut line. Okay, so instead of having individual cut lines and having these letters accidentally cut into each other, we are welding them together so that the Cricut will only cut along the outside lines and these will stay connected. And that's very, very important, because if you allow the letters to cut into each other in the areas that they're connecting, then those areas, not only will it look bad, but those areas, being small pieces, will start to peel if you're using adhesive vinyl. So definitely something to pay attention to. And of course you can line them all up just like we did before. Use your align to center them horizontally if that's what you want to do. And then you can group them all together. Okay, so one difference that I want to show you, and I should have started off with this. I should have led with this, but let me just show you. Happy. Now sometimes with script fonts, what you can do is you can come up here to your letter spacing and you can decrease your letter spacing. And that will work on some of your letters. So I decreased, I'm down to -0.5, and you notice that my A and my P right here are connected. My E and my N are connected. My I and my N are connected, but there are still a lot of letters that are not. So a lot of times, more experienced Cricut users will tell you, just adjust your letter spacing. And if that works, that is absolutely great. But just know that in situations like that, you will still want to come in and manually connect any of these letters that are not connecting automatically by themselves, okay? So last but not least, let's talk about Dingbat fonts, because that is also a really useful tool. And we're also going to talk about glyphs. And the reason that I bring these up together is because you're going to access them the same way. Now I'm showing you on a Windows PC, so if you're using a Mac, this part will be a little bit different. You will access these through your font book, but for a Windows PC, we are going to access with our character map. So open up your search engine down here, not a search engine, your search tool, and type in character map and open that guy up. Now for this, you will need to know the specific name of the font that you're working with. The one that we're working with today in particular is called the Glyphs. That's Sans, Script Regular, and Script Bold. Okay, so whichever you want to work with. I'm going to work with the bold, and you can see that it gives me an overview of everything, all the characters that are included in this font. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I can also go to Advanced View, stay in Unicode, and under Group By, go to Unicode Subrange, and scroll all the way down to Private Use Characters. 9 times out of 10, the private use characters are the glyphs that you're looking for. Now, if you're just looking at a Dingbat font, then you can find those regularly, and we'll cover that next. So glyphs are the special characters that come with a lot of your script fonts that give you the awesome little swirly, loopy letters. Usually they will have lines that go above or below. They're just special use characters that add an extra flair to your font. Now, when you're ready to select your special characters, what you want to do is go ahead and have in mind what you want to type out. Because I won't say this is a one-shot deal, but this is definitely much easier if you can grab all your special characters at one time. So just sticking par for the course, we are going to type out Happy Valentine's Day. So if I scroll down a little bit, here are my uppercase letters. So I'm going to grab an H, and you see if I click on it, I get a larger preview. Once I click on it, I can hit select, and it will copy my character down here. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to grab, for me, I'm just going to do it simple, and I will get the first and last letter of each word. So once I've selected all the letters that I need, I'll just choose copy. And then this is where it gets really, really easy. You just come over here, open a text box. You can paste your special characters. And once I paste those, you'll see that it comes up with some squares here and then some rather strange characters here. That's okay. All that means is that we have not selected the same font here. And once I do that, my special characters populate, and I can see them even larger than I could with the character map. So the next, what you're going to do is you can double click, open this text box, and you can go ahead and type in your other letters. And you're just going to treat those boxes just like they were regular letters when you're manipulating your text box here. So now, of course, your spacing is more than a little bit off on this one. That's okay. You'll find that that is really common with glyphs. So I am going to start by reducing my letter space. And for quite a few of my letters, that worked just fine. So then I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna go to Ungroup, and I will start manipulating the letters that still need to be moved. So once I have them in place, I can go ahead and weld. Now, of course, this is a very robust font, guys. I mean, this is a very, 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 very simple example of using glyphs. I really love this font, and it's one that I plan on using a lot in the very near future. But what I love about glyphs, and especially a font like this, is that if I'm not happy with these, I can easily switch them out as long as I do it before the welding stage, okay? So I can group those together, and now I have my special little characters to go along with my font. So the last thing that I mentioned was a Dingbat font, and let me show you that. So the font that I'm going to use is actually a font duo. So it's going to have dingbats, and then it's also going to have regular letters, but we're going to find them the same way. Let's go back to our character map. So we're just going to change the name. So this one is called Butter and Garlic, and this is a bonus. Here we're going to get out of the private use characters. This is just your regular characters here, and you can see that these are my Dingbats. And these are little extras, little doodles that came with this font. And then of course there are some fonts that are exclusively Dingbat fonts, and that just means that all they contain are little doodles and special characters. But you're going to treat these the same way you do the special glyphs, because you can bring them over in the same manner. So for example, if I want to use one of these, we'll just grab this cup of coffee. I'll hit select, copy it, come back over into Design Space, paste it into my text box, and then I want to select the appropriate font. And there is our little doodle. Now, why do you like Dingbat fonts? Well, because they're just these, usually, I won't say all the time, but usually they're these cute little doodles that really help you with your designing. And they'll have things, you know, like this is a cup of coffee, but they can have seasonal items, they can have hearts, they can have, you know, fall leaves. There are Christmas themes and Halloween themes. And a lot of times they have some really cute little gems in there that you can use to accent your designs or even create a whole new design around. So hopefully that gave you guys an overview of all the fun things that you can do with fonts. So guys, how do you feel about using your font and text in Cricut Design Space? Now, I know I kind of threw a lot of information out there for you, but hopefully, especially if you're a beginner, you found the information very, very useful. And hopefully some of you more advanced users found a few tips or tricks for using those fabulous fonts that you have purchased, of course, from fontbundles.net, right? All right, guys, if you have any questions or comments, please make sure you leave those below. Any video requests, anything like that. I do love to absolutely hear from you guys. And of course, in return, if you'll just do that quick subscribe button, helps keeps our little channel going here, and we can keep bringing you videos in the future. So I really appreciate you stopping by today. It means a lot to me every time you stop by and pay me a visit. And guys, we will see you again next time.